Hello, everybody, and welcome to these Ascension Messages where my higher self connects to the Pleiadians, the CYANIANS, Mother Earth, the elementals, and the humanity's consciousness. I'm delighted to be here today to channel some messages through and also talk about a certain topic, and that topic is about people like many of us who have been yearning to be taken off this planet and go off to somewhere else, like some have some sort of ET come down in a UFO and land in our front lawn or in a field somewhere and just go, yeah, you're welcome. We're taking you away. It's a really profound topic because it's actually means that you're in a certain stage in your life where you're needing to connect to your soul more. So I'm going to get more into that, but please don't forget I am an intuitive counselor. I do readings. So if you want to go on my website, which is www.codestoanew.reality, you're most welcome to pick which readings you want. I'm also doing lives now, not lives, public channeling now in my local area. That's just been thrown at me. It was really incredible with a beautiful lady called Belle, who owns these gorgeous cafes around Brisbane, around North Brisbane. Oh, I should have got the name. I will put a link down below to some of her cafes and stuff like that. But she does these beautiful meetings and gets gatherings of people that are like-minded into all of this stuff, that are wanting to embrace their missions and work more on who they are authentically and so forth. So she invited me round to have a chat, and then I realized I was actually the guest speaker and I was channeling. I was going to be channeling. So I lit a candle and off I went. And it was the most incredible experience I've had with 20 people. The place was booked out coming to see me channel live. So I was really excited. And that's just another progression, right, on where I'm going and where this world is going to as we all, each one of us, start to step into our authentic self more and more and more and more. And sometimes that comes with a fall. Sometimes, relationships have to break up so that you have more space to be able to become more authentically you, and that's exactly what's happened with me. But I am so happy with and delighted and proud of who I am now, even since my partner and I decided to become friends, and we're such good friends. Yeah, we still live in the same house and everything. We're still really, really good friends. Any case, but let's carry on with these readings and where this is actually going to take us. I'm just going to double check because I do write down things during the week. Yeah, actually, I think some of those messages might end up coming up through this channel message. My higher self is going to connect to the CYANIANS and the Pleiadians to be able to get this message through. And whoever else wants to come. They also said Mother Earth for some reason. I didn't expect that. Okay, so we will go into this message. So there's this whole thing that they want to bring up of a journey of your life and how you progress. And there comes a point where, you start to get this, well, I've always loved the stars and I always loved ETs and I always loved off-planet stuff and all that sort of stuff. Or maybe you hadn't for a while because you've been hiding it or repressing it within yourself. And then all of a sudden you start to have this, exploration of trying to figure out how that actually folds into the so-called reality that we're all pulled into, especially if you're in you're older, you're more, like 40, 50s and 60s and so forth now. Because way back in when we were children, that sort of thing was kind of, not really talked about that much. Although in my hometown, we did have something happen with UFOs coming around the south of New Zealand, and I actually had contact at that same time that they were spotted and also filmed by television crews. So that was really unique. I think it was more so that I could have this confirmation of what had happened to me was real, was for for real. And in any case, that's another story. And my journey has been dipping in and out. And it's interesting to note that sometimes I go around people that will pull me into such a grounded reality that I don't actually have as much to do with things esoteric or things that are more to do with who I am individually, because I then need to refine myself. And that's, yeah, interesting that they're bringing that up. So there might be some of us that have gone through these lives and they wanted to bring up our past first on how we actually went on a journey before we decided at one stage in our life to go look up at the stars and go, that's it. I've had enough, guys. Come and take me away. Like, I really want you to just, you get to a point where you see this reality and you just go, I've had enough. And then with that, you end up asking to be taken away. Start visualizing UFOs. And what it is an initiation that happens. There's some sort of point that, or reference point, they're saying, that happens within your psyche that gets you to, one, look outside yourself at the stars and the UFOs and something beyond what this reality and the scope of this society has, that's limitedness, and gets you to explore different planetary alignments, different ETs, different aliens, all that sort of stuff, because you're like, well, where's my home? Where's my home? That sort of thing happens. But what's truly happening, good morning, Sky, in the chat bar. But what's truly happening is, I actually wrote this one down. Ew, did I write it down? I might have written it down on my phone, actually. When you look out to the stars for someone to take you home, you are at the point of wanting to reconnect to your soul. And your soul knows who you are and all the lives that it's been through. But you are still running through this program of limitation that only looking outside yourself creates the happiness or the home that you're going to be going to. So here we are, we've been taught throughout, our lives, through schooling, through parents, through all these people, and they're constantly saying, look outside yourself for happiness, look outside yourself. And so that's what you do, right? But then when you have this real, I want to integrate my soul back into my psyche again, know who I am from my soul's perspective, which is something that is an inner world, is an inner journey, but you're still running this program. You will get to this point where you just go, well, it's not on this world, so it must be out on another world that I'll find my happiness. And so you've just gone further outside yourself to find your happiness or to find your home. But they're saying your home has always resided within you. It's just that the program pulled over you. It's like a sieve, and the program is like clogs in the sieve. There's like a clog of, you're not allowed to express yourself like this. You're not allowed to get messages from nowhere. You have to have read them in a book. You're not allowed to have telepathic conversation with your mum when she's feeling sick and something, and you're somewhere else and you know it. You're not allowed to have those like really weird experiences where you have dreams that are premonitions. You're not allowed. All of those things is where they all come from the soul's connection, and the soul is like screaming to you, you're more than this, you're more than this, you're more than this. And then you're going back into your little program and going, how do I fit that into this limited space that my parents, my teachers, the power, the ones that are controlling the society and all that, have told me that I can only have reached that limit. So then you just go, well, I just want off. I just want out. But this is actually a time and a period in your life where you can go inwards and go, well, maybe I'm not going to be able to Google, where I come from and my soul's perspective. I'm not going to be able to Google this. Can you imagine like the millions and trillions of life forms just on this one planet, on planet Earth? And can you imagine there's trillions of planets out there, right? With all these different experiences, with all these different life forms on it, and then we are trying to contain or compartmentalize or put ourselves in a certain position that we match certain things or energies, right? Now, it's not to say that those energies aren't available on Google. I'm lucky in my respect that I do have a strong connection to the Pleiadians, but I didn't find it on Google. I found it because I went outside and I started asking the questions. Yes, I went through the whole take me off this planet, but then I started to ask the inner questions. Okay, who am I? Okay, please, universe, show me or direct me to somebody of high integrity that can help me on my path. I actually asked this, and that person of high integrity ended up crazy story where I met a lady for a very, very, very short time. And then she ended up having this conversation with this other lady that was an elder that was overseas that she used to do training for remote viewing of. And then as soon as she said to me, you need to go visit this lady. And I met her on the other side of Brisbane, just at a circle that we were going to watch another reader. So it's just, we're all in these different tables and we happened to be at the same table. So she ended up pulling me through to this connection to Parisha, this elder, who was coming specifically at this time to Australia and Byron Bay. And I could travel there by car. So I packed up my 6-month-old child and went there. And Parisha pulls me out of a crowd because she was sent by her elders to find specific people she called buffalo hearts, which were souls straight from Pleiades. And then we ended up working together for quite a few years. I was learning a lot from her about who I was, because I actually went, that's it, guys, I need to know. So it's not always going to come, by looking up Google or something like that. And then the CYANIANS all came through, and she was talking about these beings of high integrity that were Pleiadian energies that were strong enough or brave enough to come here and help shift the planet. And I am part of that as well. So it is crazy because I had already, I'd had visitations already and stuff like that. And it all went click, 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 click with me. But there might be some other path that your soul has gone on. Your soul might have gone on, another journey. It might have gone in through the elementals. It might have been part of Gaia herself. It might have wanted to experience being a tree. Might have experienced being something else on another planet that we don't even know about, right? It could be absolutely anything, because there is just so much life happening around us all the time. And it's really just our perspective on how we feel about ourselves, whether we end up matching the vibration and connecting with them again. So home actually resides within you because it already is you, because your soul is home. Your soul knows all the homes that you've been on. It knows all of the places that you've experienced. So many places. And then at the core of it all, we've actually experienced everybody's life. But obviously, to have encompassed all of that, all of life, and become source energy, just love going on a journey in many different fractions, is a lot for a logical mind to be able to handle. So it's best to just stick to the ones that you've just had in the last previous lives, so that you don't get too overwhelmed. They're literally taking me to an Indiana Jones movie where there was 13 skulls, and there's a lady who wanted to know everything, and she ended up standing in the middle of the 13 skulls or something like that, and her head exploded. Literally, she became energy, and she couldn't become human anymore. We don't want to lose our grounding here in this story of how we're going through this beautiful world. Excuse my hair, by the way. I just washed it, so it's still wet. I just had to say that, being a Virgo. Going from one extreme to another, right? My ego got in the way there. Let's get back into the channeling. So yeah, we don't need to know all of that. But as we start to love more and more and more and more of ourselves, we actually start to grow into more of these past lives, and more and more and more, and we expand into more and more and more gifts that all of those past lives gave us until we become all encompassing, the creator of everything. And that means that we've returned to source energy, which is the initial home of everybody. It's just love going on a journey. But let's bring it back so that the logical mind can handle it. There is a few lives that are very present, and some of them have been because as you as a soul, you might have been on another planet, say let's just take Pleiades, because that's what I know really well. Say I'm on Pleiades and there's been this scream of this call from humanity's consciousness to awaken, and I am on a Pleiadian, being a Pleiadian or a Cyanian or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I think I can help there, and I put up my hand. What it is actually me not putting up my hand. It's just me aligning with, I know I can help. And so my energy alignment with knowing that I can help then takes my soul on another journey. So this journey could have been going from one time to another. It doesn't have to be in a linear sense, as the logical mind says. And it could have taken me on a path of going from a Cyanian back to a Pleiadian in the next life. So I'm just coming back down the levels of consciousness a little bit more. And then the next life I might have said, okay, well, I need to get used to being on Earth. So then the next life I'm going to become an elemental, which isn't quite in the frequency of humans, but it is something that's supposed to connect with humans. And so I become part of that. Then I might have become in the Atlantis age, back when the Pleiadians did help the humans. And this is all part of the soul had to go on this journey just so that I can connect to becoming in this body here. So here I am, an Atlantean, and learning how to create the go-between humanity's consciousness and mind, because I already know it existed. I ended up being the creator of that, as part of that. And that's where my name actually comes into Nanahi, that the elder that I met pricked my finger and said that I was. Nanahi is fairy or elemental, but she whispered in my ear, but you're the creator of that. And then so forth. I might have been, well, I have to go even deeper and losing myself. So the next life might have been a monk or something like that, where I just hid away for a lifetime of solace and just trying to get used to this, being in a human form, but used to this planet, but just being in solace, just being on my own for pretty much the whole life. And then this is the life that I knew I was going to change everything, because this is the life that I was going to awaken to my true authentic self. And so then I end up coming back to myself and who I am as this now. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm certainly making leaps and bounds now. But to do that, I had to choose a family that had held onto these codes, that I could use those codes. So see into other realities where my mum had that, but she, they've been persecuted for it. They've been persecuted as witches. They've been shut in, locked down into insanity asylums and stuff like that, for holding on to these beautiful codes of stretching out from the logical mind and into the intuitive soul and the knowing who we are and the connection of that. So if my mother didn't have the bravery to have been able to hold on to those codes throughout her lives and her grandmothers and so forth, which I just, and so respectful for my ancestral, my bloodline ancestral, because I wouldn't have been able to have the gifts that I have now, and I wouldn't have chosen that family anyway. So it's like this unique collaboration of coming together and going, now I can express who I truly am. But here is this world that's on a teetering place of going between one place, one space of learning all about logic and only everything's outside themselves, to then coming into allowing the soul to give them way more messages, way more knowing, way more wisdom of who they are, who you are. And so there is that point of existence where you just look at the stars and go, I don't fit in here. What am I doing here? And then you reach out as far as you possibly can for something else to bring you, to come and save you. But what you're really doing is you're going back into your soul's lineage and really needing to ask your soul, who am I at a soul level, not just a logical level in this life from birth to death, which is what the logic can only hold. It can only hold this life. It can't hold any further out. So we have to go through understanding that we are more than what our logic has been taught through this life. And then, so this journey will start. And this is what happens. We go on a journey of self-discovery because we know when we realize they're not coming. And years later, they're not coming. Okay. And years later, maybe you see something, but they're not coming. I'm still here. I still have to pay my bills. I still have to do what society tells me and my limitation of who I am, and that I'm really, I'm nobody if I can't even make the money to make the bills and that sort of thing. And dealing with all of the fractions of yourself that you lost because your family didn't love you the way that you wanted and that sort of thing. So it's just really part of a massive journey of you expanding yourself into way more. And that's really what this whole conversation is about. I do remember sitting outside on the stairs, and I was just like, no matter what I try, no matter how much I try to love the guy that I'm with, they never seem to accept my full heart. And it was so hard because I had so much to give. So this is many years ago when I was with a fella that just didn't like hugging or kissing or nothing. And it was just really an avoidant. And I ended up outside in the stairs and just going, that's it. I tried my best. Take me now. And they didn't. And so then the journey begins, right? The real journey of, might take a few years to realize they're not coming. It might take a few years to realize that you go even deeper and darker. It might take a few years to realize that you have the capacity to create something new in your life. But eventually, that breaking point of you stretching your mind outside of this reality to ask for something outside of you to come and save you, going that far and that into unknown territory, at least expands your reality enough within your inner world to go into something that's an unknown territory within yourself. And then you start to gain more retrospect of who you truly are. And you stop you go on a journey. So your life doesn't just become what the outside world told you are. But they really do want us to ask the questions that we really want to find out more about. And that's what expands us, asking these really unique, amazing questions. It takes us far beyond what you would ever ask at school. If you said to the teacher at school, I want to become, I want to know more about, I don't know, if you say to the teacher at school, I want to know more about ghosts, or I want to know more about astral traveling. I left my body last night. What does that actually mean? The teachers, because they're only here to teach you ABCs, they're not here to teach you the 3 T's: telekinesis, teleporting, and telepathy. They're not here to teach you any of that because they don't know it. So this is an inner journey of you finding out more about that sort of stuff from the soul. Google won't know everything about you because you're unique. This is something that you have to go on a journey for yourself. And so you do go on a journey, but it's not an outer journey. It's not being taken out by a physical craft, because then you're leaving your mission. And so what is your mission, right? Your mission is to find out as much as possible about who you are and your soul's lineage so that you can ground as much of that and become it. You're no longer wearing the hats anymore that, make you fit into society. You are standing living proof of who you are and everything that you say. And then that is literally grounding. But at the same time, you found peace within yourself, peace of that. You found that you really love that part of yourself and it's unique to you. And then other people will go, well, that's just Bobby, or that's just Sky, or that's just, whoever it is that is turned themselves around and found such uniqueness within themselves. And that might be so that they say that, right? But at least in them saying that is actually, it's in some ways accepting you. So it's a good thing that they say that's just them, because there's like, well, I don't know what box to put that person in anymore. So I'm just going to accept it that's just them and their quirkiness. And you embracing it actually helps that, because they can't fight something that you're not fighting within yourself anymore. They can't fight it because you haven't got the prickles up about it all. So they'll only fight it when you start to fight yourself about it, or you want somebody outside to validate who you are. I'm validating who I am, and I ended up this weekend, instead of just having a pleasant chat with a lot of new people, I ended up being the channeler, the actual speaker in a place that I'd never been before. And I just lit a candle and went into that space of knowing who I am, that I am a channeler, and just did what I do here on these YouTubes. So I didn't make any difference to me. Definitely, if you walk up to people and you are very unique and you know that they're not going to be able to handle you, always say to yourself, well, there's a reason why. Now, it could be that you just be your unique self, or that you just pull back a little bit and give them little seeds that are planted, and that's fine as well. I mean, you know how to handle your life in the best way, knowing from the love of who you are. But everything that you do say is out of respect of yourself first. It's not out of seeking that respect from somebody else. It's a big difference. So yeah, so you will go on a journey. Definitely go on a journey, but it's maybe not the journey that you were expecting, because we aren't here. We didn't come through all those different lives. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I've like sitting on Pleiades, get a feeling that humanity's consciousness wants to awaken in this time in this life. And then my soul goes on a lower journey from CYANIANS to Pleiadians to Earth, to elementals, to Atlantis, to the monk. And then I get to this point where I am who I am now. And then I turn around right at that point and go, take me away. I don't want to be here. I mean, that's just disrespecting all of the soul's journey that I've been on to be here in this point now. And I haven't even like integrated my soul into me. So just remember that it's not that they didn't come and take you away because you aren't worthy of being in their reality. They know the general story of your soul and all of that you've put yourself through to be in this position of such a very unbalanced place. And disillusionment is the word that keeps coming up. And then to go, that's it. I have to find who I am by myself from my own point of view and embrace every single aspect of my uniqueness, and then ground it, then become it, then become the channeler, right? Or become whatever it is. Like you could be here specifically, nothing to do with my life. It could be that your whole journey was to be able to build connections with other humans, to be able to connect them to plant life and that sort of thing. To be able to, your whole journey might have been more in the elemental world. It might have been in a totally different planet where you are bringing in stepping stones for us to learn telepathy, and you might end up inventing something that's going to be a stepping stone towards telepathy or telekinesis or branching through. Like, your journey is unique to you, or it could be that your journey was just to exist and have fun with what this is, but ground love into this world. It could be absolutely anything. You could be a go-between for somebody else that is born, a grandson or a grandchild that is born, and you were the witches, right, or the wizards in your life, and had to go through a lot of losing who you were. Any journey is absolutely every journey is needed in this reality for expansion, for source energy to have an adventure through you and what that journey is. And it could be just simply that you exist, right? It doesn't have to have the missions and all that. But because we are talking about people that had that yearning to leave this planet, most of them, it's because they have already this understanding that they actually come directly from, or very, very closely to, a Pleiadian agenda, or a Syrian, or from Hades, or from there's so many planets out there. Like, I don't even know them all. I could never ever name them all, right? Hey, Cheryl, you haven't missed my live. I'm still live. Yeah, I'm starting half an hour early. It's just helping me with another job that I have, get more money from that job. So that's why that's happening, just to let you guys know. Let's see what else wants to come through. So much about that journey that we're going to go through. So yeah, if you're just watching this, and it might be a couple of years later or something like that, and you just sat outside and gone, take me away. Just see, like, listen to what I'm saying, but realize that this journey that you're really wanting to embark on is an inner journey. And it is really exciting. It's part of the excitement. Like, it could take still a few more years, but the excitement that comes from this, when you start to realize who you truly are, actually will end up connecting you to those off-world beings, because you're now starting to come into alignment of love, and you're set within yourself, of embracing that part of you that is from those other planets. And so then the connection can actually happen. So then you end up having the same vibrational meet of those off-world beings, other interdimensional beings, whatever it is, you end up having the same vibrational meet through the love and acceptance of that part of you, of who you are. We're not grasping outside for something to happen, but in the end, in that reflection, it could well and truly, it could show up, because of that love that you found of that they are, that their soul is in this moment. Yeah, but please don't get too ungrounded with it, because if you're too ungrounded with it, other people won't be able to gain wisdom from you and your soul's lineage. If you're too ungrounded with it, you'll be too pushy and push your agenda onto other people, and then they will automatically, when someone pushes something onto someone, the other person will just retreat. They don't want to know about it. They'll see you as whimsical, not really here or present, not somebody that you can trust. So what this next stage is about grounding it and just loving it and being present with that. And then watching the new people that come into that, are magnetized to you, that come into your reality. And then you'll see that would expand more as a groundedness, just like what I've just gone through. I've gone from doing lives on YouTube to just last weekend, channeling for an actual physical group. And now I feel I've met people that could be my really good friends now for the future. And that's going to then expand that more to thousands of people. I could speak in front of thousands and millions. I don't care. I've already been a singer anyway and sung in front of like 40,000 people at Broncos games and stuff. It doesn't make any difference. It's actually harder to to sing in front of a pub of 3 people that just turned up, you know, and they're like all eyes on you and you can see them and they're right there in front of you like, okay, we'll just do this performance. It's easier to actually speak in front of millions because they're all over there. Like then you can't see millions of people right in up close, right? You can only see a certain amount of people up close. I don't know why they're bringing that up, but anyway, they are. Or I am. What else is there though that wants to come through for this journey that we're going on? This inner spaceship journey that we go on, which will end up becoming so much into who you are, how you feel about yourself is that as well, that you are only a magnet for them. So we're no longer searching for it, we're just becoming it and allowing it to come to us. So last weekend I was supposed to have a the gathering, but it rained us out. And so I brought it up to this weekend, which is just so cool because I've got even more confidence after having that channeling experience in public. And it's not about when I go there, you know, yeah, totally. We'll look at the stars and all of that stuff. But this is about uplifting the whole group's dynamics to vibrate at the vibrational love part of our unique self that's going to bring them, magnetize them through. Just like if you embrace part of yourself, all of a sudden there's people coming out of the woodwork that will embrace that part of you as well and see you for the honorable person that you are, and you know, see you for the integrity that you've held about yourself in that uniqueness. And so you end up having a lot more people around you that you can discuss all these things with, where I've literally most of my life been in places where I couldn't discuss this stuff with anyone, not even my partners. My partners weren't even really into it at all. And now I'm starting to bring in people that are into it. So it's because I'm vibrating at a level of acceptance of that part of myself. And that's the journey you go on from the point of looking outside yourself for something to come and save you. And then realizing you're saving yourself by becoming part the same frequency as that. So now when I go this weekend coming on Saturday, the 17th, I just will be that and then see what happens. Like it's up to them as well. It's up to the Pleiadians, it's up to the CYANIANS to know what's the right time from their higher perspective and their higher consciousness to be able to ground with us. No fear can be held with this. There has to be absolute acceptance and embracing of who we are, and then they come to us. And then we have this rapport that happens, understanding, and then the wisdom can really truly be shared on a physical plane, on this physical plane. And there'll be pockets and groups of people that are going to be able to make physical contact because of this. But it is a journey that we go on first. So when we're looking outside ourselves to be saved, what we're really asking is to connect with our soul and save ourselves so that we can then have this happen, this connection happen. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Yeah, I started early today, so not so many people in the chat bar. Doesn't really matter anyway. See what else comes through. Yeah, they're just saying this is all to do with grounding one's unique self. Grounding one unique self. I'm looking at these tarot cards in front of me, Osho cards, so I might just shuffle a few of those and see what pops out as well. See, look, celebrations, guys. This isn't just this is celebration of who you are. You know, one of the things that happened when I was channeling for these people publicly is one of the first things that came out was this: I'm coming out. It's my coming out. And I've been watching a lot on this planet coming into their authentic self. And no matter what that looks like, you know, we see it from a sexual point of view, or from an ADHD person suddenly realizing that they're just unique and that they are actually whole in themselves, and no longer taking the drugs that cloud them because they are just becoming, like, embracing who they are. I've seen that happen. But there's also the group of us that are coming for specific mission, to come straight from other planetary places or different dimensions, which hold frequency, and we've been hiding that frequency. So really, this is, if you're watching me, a coming out party of that, right? A coming out party of, I am Pleiadian, I am CYANIAN. I have been elements, you know, I'm coming out. I'm saying it for sure. But I love that part of myself, that really unique part of myself. It's always been present, and I've been hiding it and not fitting in, and then having many people reflect how weird I am and all of that sort of stuff. When I have conversations, when I was in Mulaney, they used to call me the fifth element, because I couldn't have a conversation unless I brought in something esoteric. It's just who I am. I'm that close to off-world beings, and I'm embracing it and loving it as me. So whoever you are and whoever's watching this, but I'm pretty sure most people are watching this already feel that they're, you know, coming straight from another dimension or another planetary alignment, to be able to ground their energy, that energy that they're grounding when they love it within themselves and they ground it within themselves and they become a unique self, is going to share out with the rest of the world. And with that comes wisdom, a lot of wisdom, and not wisdom that you're going to find on Google, not wisdom that you're going to find in a book. It's wisdom that comes from the all-knowing of yourself. And it's wisdom that when people hear it, they will get the goosebumps, or they will feel it, or they'll go, oh my God, that just ding, ding, ding for myself. I understand more about who I am. So celebrations, right? This is the time to celebrate. Absolute. Coming out and being who you are authentically. I think the whole of humanity's consciousness is wanting to come out and be their unique self. This whole place will look totally different. This whole planet will look totally different if everybody came into their authentic self and said, I go beyond the limitations of what I've been taught I am. I'm way more than that. Look at this. Can't get a better one for connecting back to past lives. How do we connect through that vortex there? We have to connect to our soul's lineage, understand who we are. Many, many different past lives. There's past lives as in your body's past lives and all of your ancestors and what they've been through. So absolutely go have a look into that. But your actual past life is a soul thing. And so with that, so much wisdom's coming through. Don't you love it how the actual cards are reflecting what I'm already speaking about, right? I think that's why I like pull a couple of cards just so that they get even more confirmation, because I can't make this up, right? I wish I had a camera here though, so that you can see. It's actually, they pop out. The cards actually pop out. Is there anything else more that you want to say through the cards? Comparison. Comparison. The oak tree is so valuable. The bamboo is so valuable. You compare these two trees. It's giving, each one is giving something beautiful to this world. So no longer when we step into our authentic self do we need to compare to each other of who they are and wishing and all that sort of stuff. When we start to be the unique self, judgment just falls. And half of the problem, even in the spiritual world, I've seen it a lot. There's a lot of judgment. Oh, well, I did this, so you have to do this. It's still the same as copy and pasting and telling other people who they are and not embracing or teaching other people to find their true inner core value of themselves from within. Yes, it's a journey and you can explain your journey, but in the end, they have to do it. They have to do it. So comparing each other, it's ridiculous, because if we're trying to fit into another piece of puzzle, somebody else's piece of their puzzle that they hold as a unique self, and we're trying to all fit in and mold our pieces of puzzle and break off bits of ourselves, we don't have the full picture anymore, because we're broken off pieces of our puzzle to try to fit into somebody else's piece of their puzzle, or they're trying to fit into somebody else's piece of their puzzle, and so forth. And we just have this mess that doesn't even fit together. So how do we find the unique, beautiful blanket, a tapestry of wholeness of humanity? We have to find our unique self within ourselves. We have to find it. Nobody else can give it to us. So how do we feel about ourselves? What were we like go back, if you can, to when you were a child and it was young as you can possibly go. Seek through all of the disillusionments to find the gems within the shadow work. Shadow work is literally there to unclog the sieve that you are just love going on a journey to find the gem or the hole that it was covering up to begin with. Shadow work is just scraping that sieve out so that you have this beautiful sieve that everything's pouring through and you just love. I'm coming from a mind's perspective here, because we have a lot of clouding within our minds that stop us, that plugs us up about who we are, because we're so busy trying to fit in and we're comparing ourselves to each other. But each of us holds this uniqueness, right? And that means when you find your uniqueness and your power within you, you are at equal standings. The oak tree is equally as important as the bamboo. There is no difference. It's just, there's no difference in the point of love going on a journey. It's just that we're encompassing a different branch of source energy, that we're a lineage of our soul that has gone on a specific pattern so that we can either help and grow into ourselves. Do you know how much my soul has learned from the journey of going from CYANIAN, that beautiful, beautiful being, and connecting to source energy, all the way through to becoming human now? Do you know how much, now that I've embraced all of my uniqueness, how much power I feel within myself, how much I've learned from that journey? It's not just that I end up helping other people. I have gone into the darkest depths of so much that, and then to come out, and that's only what I know in my logical brain now, and this story in this life, right? Not all of those lives, but mostly in this life. And then to go, I know who I am. And now I'm starting to see so many people be magnetized to me, because why? Because they want to find their own unique self as well. It's beautiful. So yeah. Yeah, how did the meet go, Arnie? We actually postponed it till this weekend because it was raining. So, which is worked out really well because I ended up finding myself in the unusual position of channeling publicly for the first time. And now I feel even more empowered. So, and I've invited those people as well. So it's all happened for a reason, you know. Is there anything else you want to? I started to pick up the cards and shuffle. So is there anything else the cards want to speak to us about in these times of looking out at the UFOs and asking them to come and save us, right? And what that actually means. Yeah, go back to the beginning of this video. There's so much patience. Everybody really, like, we get the patience card and we're like, oh, the patience card, really? But it's, they want, like, when this lady is pregnant, she's waiting for the months to pass before she sees her baby. But when we're pregnant, the uniqueness of what's happening and our transformation of what's happening will never happen again. You know, the baby's born and it's going to happen maybe with another baby, but it's a unique thing to this baby, right? And every single one of my pregnancies was unique to having an experience with that. So yes, we're going through a massive transformation, and we might just be sitting here incubating who we are and all of that sort of stuff. But if you start to love it, you're loving the process. You're loving the creation that's been born too. So you're not like, I want it all over and I just want to be having everything that I want, blah, 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 right here, right now. Then you're missing all these other beautiful things that are in front of you that you could be embracing just because you're focused in on one thing happening over there. You know, patience is needed when we are learning to align ourselves with our other beings that are going to come and maybe physically have a conversation with us or show themselves, or anything else. It could be anything. It could be somebody that's passed away and you want to really connect with that person that's passed away and you can't connect with them. Why? Because you're reaching for something that you're not in the vibrational meet. That person's moved into love. They've moved into a higher frequency of feeling good about themselves because they're no longer in the program of denying their limitation. So when you start to relax and start to embrace your life, then you're more likely to have messages coming your way. It's when we're pushing. Remember, when we're pushing for something, what happens? I always say that something pushes back and we never get the actual answers that we need. Love is expansive. It takes you on a more amazing journey. Trying to fit in and compare yourself to everyone else is limiting, and it stops your soul's growth. It stops you being able to connect to more. So yeah, that was a message for somebody. I don't know who, but as a message for somebody for sure. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else from the cards that want to come through about this message in the tarot as well. Because I don't know why, but yeah. Oh, I love this card. Guys, the sun. Oh, my nose gets itchy sometimes when I channel as well. I used to years ago, not so much now because I channel so much. It's literally integrated into myself. But this is a higher frequency. This is a much more high frequency that we're coming into. The reason why this child on this card is riding a horse, because they have all that power under them, but they are still the innocence within themselves. They are just love going on a journey, and they are facing the sun, and the sun is literal source energy wanting to give you more information, like more information. There's some information that's coming through, some wisdom that wants to come through for us. And it's when we start to accept that it was never an outer journey. It was never seeking something outside ourselves. That was the literal program that got us caught up in misery. It was all about coming back to self and going on that journey. And then we are magnets for our outside world to reflect the journey that we found within ourselves. And then we have the contact coming. Then we have the Pleiadians and all that. They're not somebody that you can fear, but you will fear because you now know the power of yourself as this child is riding the horse and still staying in the innocence of who you are as a soul, just wanting to explore and be curious, right? And no longer what true essence of curiosity does not have fear. Fear blocks curiosity. It blocks it. Curiosity is just coming from one's heart, one's soul, one's passions, one's desires, one's uniqueness. That is what curiosity is. And this child just wants to wave his flag of independence, of I am me and I love me. And yes, I'm going on a new journey because I am facing the sun and I am embracing all of that the wisdom that pours through to me to awaken my cells and my body, to remind me of my neuron paths that are hidden within the recesses of my cells. Yeah, so there's something really beautiful coming out for humanity's consciousness when we start to take the decision of doing the inner work and moving forward. And then going through the different steps like I've suggested in this reading. I mean, some of the people that are watching me and know definitely Sky is we've done so much of this journey. We're coming to the point of literally grounding our unique self. And I know that you are, Sky, for sure. And that's why you had, you actually saw those UFOs and stuff like that. You've seen some things. Because they magnetize towards your beautiful essence. There's no fear in this child. And so there's no fear in what reflects the child. There's no fear in the ETs that come towards you either. But it is a process of eliminating all the fear and illuminating who you are. It's a process. And if you're in a group dynamic, it's a process of everybody being in that. So some of those people in those groups might not even see what others see, or they might see it as a different thing. But it could be because they're still coming from the veil of certain fears where they don't want to expand that much. Interesting. Anyways, guys, so love you heaps. And until next time, I can't believe there's hardly anyone in the chat bar today, but that's interesting, right? I really feel like I've shifted into another dimension just in the last week. It's really been a unique, I don't know, a change in myself and honoring who I am. And it's like there's only those, yeah, it's really interesting. So maybe this is like baby steps as we go along into where this is actually going to take us. But love you guys heaps. And anyone that's watching me, thank you, Michelle. Anyone that's watching me after, I love you guys. Please, comment and like. It's like an energy exchange so that I can get my stuff out there further. So as many comments as you want, as many likes as you want. Oh, you can only like once, but other. Also, I'm going to make a little thing on my YouTube where there's just all these messages and you can just go in and see which one's calling for you. So, because I have so many messages over the years, it's just crazy. So you can go, okay, I'm just going to throw this on a whimsical, like see what comes up for me. I'll see if I can do that. I've got this idea in my head anyway. I'll see if I can implicate it, if YouTube allows me to implicate it. So love you guys heaps until Thursday. I will be live on Thursday. I'll let you know now. I am going to be live on Thursday, and probably at 6:30 in the morning as well. So Bye. That's AEST time, Brisbane time. Bye.